morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is John with Tommy's Top Picks, here to bring you your weekly Flesh and Blood market update. Let's jump right in. There actually is not that much to talk about, so we'll talk about some cards as well, and just get through what we can here. Not much in Unlimited at all. Motion is basically non-existent. We're sitting flat with a high of, I guess, 217 plus and negative 278 low. Not a whole lot going on. Not even enough for honorable mention. So Unlimited is boring and flat, which isn't a bad thing. It's good to have consolidation phases before the hype of a new set. It's very normal. There's nothing wrong with it at all. All right, moving on to first edition. Crew is down 6.46% to 608 from 650. And we were talking about this last week, how this cooling off and how far it goes is going to be a factor in what the future looks like here. We'll take a look at the chart. But this continual leakage down is probably going to be a bad sign. So we'll look at the chart and see what it looks like. Mon down 11.03%. To 129 from 145. I did check the shipping on this, and that is actually what it is, even with the shipping. And so it has retraced quite a bit, still above these lows back here. But remember, this was kind of a crash low, so we're sitting in that same channel. We don't really like this too much. We'll see the chart, but this basically is a sign of this was a bubble. It was a temporary bubble, probably around dusk till dawn. It makes total sense. I imagine, it makes sense to you, makes sense to me. I imagine this will come back up as the new set reveals come out more. Although we have been getting a steady stream of those, and the hype is not building continually with each one. There's a little bit of excitement around each class as the class specialization is revealed and that sort of thing. But it doesn't seem to be affecting booster box prices, which is probably fine. I actually like a cool and calm, I don't know if it's called a leak period, preview period, right? And we go through that. We get to understand the set and what it's going to look like. Very interesting card was revealed yesterday. Another Earth specialization for Briar, or I guess it's another, which I thought was very interesting. I didn't realize they were going to have elemental cards in this set. And they do. So what? Maybe an interesting time to look at Tails again. That was a surprise. I don't know if anyone caught that or realized that, but I thought it was Shadow and Light. I did not think there would be Earth cards. What else are they going to have in this? Maybe more Ice? Icelander? Hello, that'd be awesome. Or Lightning, and something that helps a Lightning Lexi build, or although that'd probably busted because she's already really good, but you get the idea, right? Pretty neat. Moving on, not much else to report other than Crew first edition cases have come down 5.24% to 3,500. Again, when you're talking about these first three sets, and especially in the case form, it's not super realistic using TCG player pricing. You really want to go to your Discords and that sort of thing and see where they're last sold there, because frankly, I don't think many sell on these markets. So it's kind of artificial. This is probably more real than these two ever were. But it's still one of those things like, take it with a big grain of salt. Just is what it is. That's how it is with these older sets. There's just not a lot of them left. So soon enough, these will all just end up like this, where it's not changing and there's no stock. We hit that with Arc for a while. Now we have this one on here, which isn't selling. So it's, we'll get there pretty quickly with these first three sets where there's just no movement and this data basically becomes invalid. Okay, moving on to some cards, some interesting cards. I thought it was noteworthy that Codex of Frailty is up to 300 now. For the longest time, it was sitting around that 250 point, which was kind of where it launched at. It dipped a little below that in the beginning, but it hasn't gone much below it. I think the lowest it ever hit was around 210 or something, maybe 200. And that was like right at the release with all the cards flooding onto the market. Interesting to see it starting to move up. So this is the timing for things that are collectible, like Marvels and that sort of thing, post set release. So think of the boredom of the boxes, right, is around the time when it looks like the singles that are collectible start to move up. So keep that in mind for future sets as a 2.0 release thing. I imagine in Dusk Till Dawn we'll have a bunch of Marvel Angels. We've already seen one or two. No, just one, right? Yeah. And so think about it that way. Post hype, in the doldrums, that's the time it seems when the prices start to move up. So you want to get a little ahead of that if you're trying to collect them at the low point. We didn't really know this for 2.0 because we had a lot of movement around the new 2.0 set. The amount, we didn't really have a good price range for them. The dragons, for example, jumped all over the place. So I just thought it was interesting to see, okay, this is a pretty stable release. This was one of those, like, everything kind of went as expected. This is a third in a series of 2.0s. We have an idea of how this works, and now we're starting to see some movement on this. I could be wrong. It could come back down, so let's let the data dictate what we do, but I'm feeling that this is probably accurate around the doldrums in the booster box time frame. Post-released boringness is when collectors start saying, what do I want to collect? And they start grabbing the individuals. I know I've been doing it for a few weeks. We talked about it with my Hanabi blaster that I still haven't picked up, but I picked up a few other things. So let's go through some of them. The Dragon, 179, 100. They're stable. These are the two big ones. These are the ones everyone likes to actually play. This is a little lower than I would have expected, so this might be a bit of a discount. I know it's sat at 120 for the longest time. Even the market price says 120, so that might be a bit of a discount, a little bit of a this is such an old set now sort of thing, or people moving capital to try to secure Dusk Till Dawn or Marvels and stuff from other sets after the Dragons. We're going to have a bunch of Angels soon too, so it's going to be a factor. Interesting to see Asvolai up to 30. Obviously, market price has been here for a while, but I assumed that in the doldrums it would come down, and it has not. Same with Miragi. Miragi's less surprising because it's a very good card. It's a card that I think everyone wants to play. I think everyone wants to play Asvolai too, but Miragi is the one that I think you kind of have to play. So that's why it's at the higher price point. But it's been stable around this price for a while. Moving on to the weapons, Sandscour Crossbow has obviously jumped up in the past few weeks. I think we covered that the previous week. Same with Hanabi Blaster. That one that was low priced, Tommy pointed out, was chipped, I guess, or whatever. It was a light plate instead of mint. So I was wrong about that pricing on that. It really was an artificially low price. Something I thought was interesting but makes total sense is the Tiara. I speculated on this myself. I knew this was going to happen. Actually, kind of when they released this, I was like, oh, there's going to be a new, because you're not seeing Viserai wearing a tiara, right? So there's going to be a female Runeblade, right? That's kind of the mindset I had. So it's going to have a different mechanic, and it's probably going to work around this thing. And so it seems like we're getting there closer and closer each step of the way as we see cards revealed here. There's a couple other specs within Runeblade world that you can probably grab at a discount that will almost certainly work well with Vynnset and what appears to be the game plan that's coming out. We'll see what the details are when she's released. Some of these will drop like a rock because they won't actually work with it. But, if you're doing speculative stuff, it's an interesting time to do it. But it is nice to see this move up after specking on it so long ago. More dragons, about the same, the 20s, 22s, 25s, depending on usefulness. 150 for Bloodrot, which is a loved card. I'm actually curious. Codex is Inertia is 136. That's very interesting. And I'm doing it by best selling, so we're seeing the top sellers. So Inertia is selling more now, and it's at a low price. I don't know. I'm interested in that. Let me know if you have reasons why Bloodrot is less sold. Maybe it's just the price is higher than it should be. Very interesting. Inertia is definitely useful in this meta, that's for sure. All right, Optimi 120s, basically where it's been most of the time. And the Angel jumped back up to 530. Someone bought that 400. Here, we'll jump in real quick. There's a 470 listed, and it got sold. It did take a while. This was listed for probably about a week before it sold. So the Angel hype is slowed down into Dusk Till Dawn. I imagine it will come back as we see more Angels that, this makes sense to work with, and et cetera, et cetera. We already saw the weapon for Prism that does the Angel go again, so I think we're looking at that kind of thing. Kimono went nuts. I think we talked about that last week. I don't think Uri will go up, or Uror, however you say that. I have no idea. Moving into the other ones, Mechanoid has been solid as a rock. Thought this was interesting. Icelander has slowly leaked down. Not much, though. She's still loved. Even if she LLs, I imagine this will drop, but I don't know how much because she's just loved. It's like gorgeous art in the Marvel version. Unfortunately, this doesn't really show it. It just looks really good. So I can see that being a shelf piece, especially for people that were very passionate about Icelander for a long time. I expected this to go up with Elegance, and it did not. So maybe I misread or misconstrued how some of the mechanics will work. I thought that would be Elegance tokens would be a very good synergy, but I guess we don't really know if Wizards are gonna get Elegance, and I could see it only being Illusionist. That would actually be kind of funny and rude. Yeah, everything else is kind of sitting around the same price with the exception of the Aether Ashwing Marvel. This one was always an outlier. I'm not sure why it was so expensive other than people just couldn't find it, and I guess they wanted it. I don't know. It always seemed like it shouldn't have been that expensive from day one. It was more expensive than I was expecting. Everything else is kind of sitting flat. Only one I don't have of these weapon sets is the Hanabi. And then some of the cheaper ones, I think I'm missing Rock. I think I have Season, and I think the Ninja Armor. So, I'm slowly picking them up. I'll probably pick up Hanabi this week. I don't see it coming down much further. It may. In fact, it's on an uptrend. But I'll probably pick it up this week. That's kind of where I'm at. It's about that time, and I think collectors are going to start picking up Marvels from the older stuff at this stage as we get into the Doldrums. Boring is the best time to buy, in my opinion, and that is what I will be doing. All right, let's jump into the charts real quick. All right, so Unlimited is boring, so I don't think we'll even bother with this. Let's just go ahead because nothing happened. Remember, it was flat. WTR Arc, again, nothing here to talk about. Crew is dipping down. Note the premium's still intact. Premium's still intact here. So we're just seeing a slowly flat line. It's not even below its previous low channel area. So if it bounces back up, or even if it dips a little lower and stays kind of above this line, we're in a very healthy kind of step up. Remember, this was a really aggressive step up. We talked about that at the time. So I think it deserves to be there because there's so few of them in the world. But that's one of those things we have to see how the market reacts and tests. This one is interesting. Mon First Edition, we got the hype spike and we're leaking down back up. We're still above this low, so I think we're kind of safe at this new channel. We talked about this. As long as it stays above some of these new highs that happened along the way, then we're kind of assuring that we're staying at this new upper channel, and we're not sure where we should be in that channel. Typically what you'll see is a pie shape form where the highs go lower and the lows go higher, and it tightens to a band or an area that's basically where the price is going to stabilize. That's just supply and demand pulling on both sides of the price equation, and that's how markets work. Tales of Aria, favorite weird chart here. Actually, it doesn't look all that weird. Just the weird dinosaur legs. I think of this as a as a brontosaurus. It has 4 legs and a long neck. I'm sorry. It's true, though. I always thought of it as a brontosaurus. I don't think I ever said that out loud, though. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud. Anyways, so hashtag brontosaurus. It is always the weird one. Tales of Aria, first edition's more stable than the Unlimited, obviously, and we're sitting fine at this price point. I think it's a fine place to be. I'm curious if we'll see some reaction to the Elemental card that was revealed yesterday. I don't think it's had time to filter into the market yet. Into the Brontosaurus yet. Everfest. Not much to report here. We do have an ARB opportunity. It's only $2 or something, so nothing to go crazy over, but interesting to see that it continues to ride in an ARB situation. So I think this is indicative of they should not release Unlimited. Until that premium's in place, you really don't want to add more to the market. Uprising. Crazy little earthquake spike. That's what we'll call this one. This is just, flatlining around a map and then essentially going below it and trying to come back to it. I think that's all we're going to see on these ones, honestly, after a point. It's the doldrums of the set. It's 3 sets old, right? And Dynasty's starting to get to that point. It's doing the decline off the top for a while. And again, holding map, it will fall below it a little bit, and then once map fails, it will go down, and then it will start to come back up. Outsiders, same thing. Again, this one dipped way below map. This one's actually surprising. I don't know if there's just been no enforcement on the policy of map or what, or maybe people found a way where you can sell it and not get in trouble. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's definitely fallen below map and is hanging there, obviously, on the box price level it is holding. This is the case level that's below MAP. So it's interesting. You can get some discounts here. This is an $11 ARB opportunity. So you make $11 a box if you buy a case, $44 a case if you crack and sell. Kind of not worth it. $11 basically is shipping, I think. So you're not really going to make any money by doing that unless you can get a better discount price. But yeah, anyways, point being that cases are selling for lower because there's lots of cases out there and people, aren't buying the boxes as fast anymore because everyone's getting ready for the next meta. Anyways, that'll wrap it up. If you enjoy the content, let me know in the comments below, subscribe, like, etc. And support our channel with shopping. We have links in the description if you want to go to TCG Player and buy stuff from us. We are getting more and more fab up there pretty regularly. We have some up now, and Tommy's working on a whole chunk more. I have a chunk more to put up there, so we're getting there. It is showing up, so we will see that on the market there. So support us with the link below if you'd like to. And until next time, I hope you're out there cracking packs, playing games, and enjoying this hobby that we love. Have a good one.